This is news on Good News Catholic Communications. I am Betty Ann Lazarus. In the headlines, the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada hosts Diocesan Pastoral Council meeting as it strengthened its resolve for the re-establishing of the Diocesan Pastoral Council. Missionary Month to get underway with 4 online study sessions in partnership with the Caribbean Bishops of the Antilles Episcopal Conference. Diocesan Youth Ministry to host an evening of prayer this Friday at Norton's Hall. Details to these and more when we return.
We stand before you,
Holy Spirit,
as we gather together in your name,
with you alone
to guide us. Make yourself at home in our hearts. Teach us the way we must go and how we are to pursue it.
We are weak and sinful.
Do not let us promote disorder.
Do not let ignorance lead us down the wrong path.
nor partiality influence our actions.
Let us find in you our unity,
so that we may journey together to eternal life
and not stray from what is truth and what is right.
All this we ask of you, who are at work in every place and time.
In communion of the Father and the Son,
forever and ever.
Amen.
Welcome back. Bishop of the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada, Clyde Martin Harvey, has described the recently held Diocesan Pastoral Council meeting as the process of moving from one understanding of the Church to another, while encouraging the Church to be open to that process. Last Saturday's meeting attracted various representatives from each parish as the diocese moves to re-establish a Diocesan Pastoral Council as a key pillar in building church. Saturday's meeting set the pace for the thought-provoking process of generating suggestions as to how the council should function and who should serve on that council.
But when the great theologians of the pre-council period, Yves Congar, Henri de Lubac, some of the names ring loud, began to look again at what the early church was about, what they became clear on is that we are talking about a Christian community. We are talking about Christian communities, and therefore, if we want to recapture the authentic spirit of the gospel, we must put the emphasis again on the church as a community. Not the church as an institution which is saving your soul, but the church as a community of people who are bearing witness to Christ's message and Christ's presence in the world, and in bearing that witness are uniting themselves with Christ, who is saving the world. He's saving the world, okay?
The council, once established, will be charged with 9 main areas of responsibilities, including working in partnership with the Bishop of the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada so that pastoral activity can more effectively serve the mission of the Church and meet the needs of the people, as well as identifying the challenges and needs of the diocese, which the council considers to be of pastoral urgency, and subsequently making the appropriate recommendations to the Bishop of the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada.
the vision of the book of Revelation, which is the last book of the scriptures, is not a vision of individuality. It is a vision of a huge number, impossible to count, coming together to worship the Lamb. That worship of the Lamb is what is the core image that drives them in their understanding of salvation. What we are doing now is understanding that togetherness is not only for the next life. That togetherness must begin now. The church must be that space in which we get together now, valuing each other now as sign and sacrament of salvation.
Saturday's meeting examined the functions and terms of reference for the Pastoral Council, which then enables participants to consider who within the various parishes are best fitted to serve.
We did some wonderful things under COVID, but there are also some wonderful things that we didn't do that needed to be done within our church. And what I've been hearing about, and people call me quite a bit, is people who say, I can't go to church, Bishop, and nobody comes to see me. Nobody comes to see me. That's one of the things ad intra, inside of the church, that we have to deal with, right? Who are the people who have fallen through the cracks because of COVID? How can we reach out to them? And here it is vital that we share our experiences. When I said not me, mine, or ours, it's important for the average parish council to understand that if we have an experience of Christ, it's not for us to keep on saying, yes, we are the better parish. It's to share with others. And that's one of the things that we did at a meeting at the Trade Center, to share those experiences.
Bishop Harvey, in pointing out how the council is expected to function, highlighted a few challenges and lessons to be learned stemming from the experience of the COVID-19 pandemic. In his presentation, Bishop Harvey also reflected on the basic principles of Christian witnessing, which should encompass the work of the individuals and parish councils.
The first thing I want to suggest is we have to become serious about our spirituality. And this is not about simply whether I feel holy or whether I am going to Mass every Sunday and so on. It is about the kind of relationship that I have with the Lord. I live, no, not I, Christ lives in me. Some of you will have heard me talk about that, refer to that often, because that is one of the bedrocks, I think, of all spirituality. This sense that we ought to have, that we have to develop ourselves, yes, but we do not develop ourselves, as the world says, simply so that I might be. We develop ourselves so that we might deny ourselves and allow God to work in us and through us. Because it is only if we have done the work of the human development that God is able to work in us. When you're getting married to somebody, the only thing they say to you is, I love you. Run. Right? Find out who they are. Find out whether they have spent time working on I live. And if they have not spent any time on that, they will have nothing really to offer you. The second key, I'm suggesting, is communication. On the one hand, I can communicate with you, and I think I have a certain openness on that. But it's about more than just talk. It's about networking in the parish, networking in the diocese. There's some people who are very good at it, right? And the parish council should be the place, and the diocesan council for the diocese, where people are able to do that networking, but that networking with a reference to the networking that you're doing outside of the council. So that again, if you're having a discussion within a council, that there should be some reference to who do we have to talk to outside the council for what we're doing to make sense. And then accountability. Accountability to each other and to God. We have not been very good at that.
Bishop Harvey reminded the gathering of the See, Judge, Act method, which has guided Catholic action since the 1950s. A true Christian must be able to move beyond analysis and talk to action, which transforms for kingdom living.
See, Judge, Act. If we just have those principles in our heads, what a difference it would make. See, Judge, Act. See, an accurate analysis of the situation, the real lived context of the ecclesial community, some research. How many of us can say that we know what's going on in our parish? I'm not talking about the parish church. I'm talking about the context in which we are. The people of Windward, Carriacou is a unit. Right? Do the people of Windward and Hillsborough know what's going on in Carriacou? Right? Do you understand? Do you confront that? Do you look at it? Right? See it. One of the challenges of Christian witness today, and he has articulated it very clearly, that we must become a church of the poor, where we develop structures and so on, which enable the poor to be subjects of their own destiny. In other words, I'm not doing something for you. I am creating a space within which you can come and do something with us for yourself. So the judging is a discernment and a decision as to where the Spirit is leading us. Right. And here again, the conversion from me and mine to ours. Where is the Spirit leading us as we face this particular issue? If a hurricane were to come to Grenada this season, where would the Spirit be leading us? How many of us as parishes have sat down and asked ourselves, do we have a plan if a hurricane comes?
Having set the tone regarding criteria and mission of the soon-to-be established Diocesan Pastoral Council, Bishop Harvey admonished participants to gear up for the real role of stewardship by adopting the right principles and attitude.
And that calls for vision. That calls for some people to be able to say, yes, I think this is where we ought to go. For the rest to say, yes, this is where I think the Spirit is leading us. And then action. We are not about sitting down and just say, no, okay, right. So I say keys for those who knock. There's this beautiful image in the book of Revelation. Behold, I stand and knock. Right. And right now, we are a Catholic community knocking at the door. And God, we're asking God to open a door for us so that we might be able to go through it into the new generation.
We take this opportunity to encourage parishioners to be a part of the process as the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada moves towards re-establishing the Diocesan Pastoral Council. All hands on board, directly or indirectly. Together, we cross that bridge in moving the diocese forward. The Pontifical Missionary Societies, in partnership with the Caribbean Bishops of the Antilles Episcopal Conference, will commence Missionary Month with 4 online study retreats from October 4th to October 7th, 2022. The sessions will be guided by the theme, Journeying to Mission from AEC Mission Congress to Synodality. The first 2 study retreats will target diocesan directors and bishops. However, according to Sister Lucy Gabriel of the Pontifical Mission of the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada, these sessions will also be open to clergy and lay faithfuls. Gears will be shifted on October 4th for the 3rd session as the synodal journey will take the spotlight, reflecting on the theme, You Shall Be My Witnesses.
This will have highlights and challenges and the striking calls to action in the AEC synodal document, especially with regards to mission and evangelization. On the 5th will be Caribbean families. And in this, a bishop, will be sharing insights on how to mold our Caribbean Catholic families more and more into an active missionary family life, drawing from his recent digital book, Missioning the Domestic Church, and other sources. On the 6th, we'll have the Caribbean parishes. You shall be my witnesses. And in this, the speaker will reflect on the pastoral conversion of the parish that Pope Francis speaks about in Evangelii Gaudium. On the 7th, it is the bringing together of these three themes and celebrating 200th anniversary of the Pontifical Mission Societies and the beatification of its foundress, Pauline Jaricot.
October 20th online session will focus on the clergy and religious and laypersons, with a session for open Catholic faithfuls on October 25th. Missionary Month is observed in October every year. A special collection will be taken up for missionary cause on October 23rd. The 2022 Missionary Month will also be observed under the theme, You Shall Be My Witnesses. And we are encouraging the general Catholic faithful to contact the diocesan office for information on signing on to those online study groups. Let's catch up with what's going on as the Church continues to observe the season of creation. The season of creation, an ecumenical celebration in praise of God's creation, celebrated by Christians all over the world. The season starts on September 1st, World Day of Prayer for Creation, and ends on October 4th, Feast of St. Francis, patron saint of ecology. The objective of the session is to help all peoples renew their relationship with the all of creation, to take our responsibilities seriously in caring for creation in a loving, sustainable manner.
I am Sister Anne Keynes Douglas, sister of St. Joseph of Cluny, Grenville. I wish to share with you my tribute to bamboo. The songs of nature, the flowing, gurgling river, the bamboo that sways and creaks, and the very sound of silence tell their story. I was speechless and could only but listen to the voice of creation.
Well, Youth 360, which is a weekly program by Good News Catholic Communications, shifted their focus on youth on politics with a conversation with the very youthful MP for St. John's, Kireen James. MP James added her voice as Minister for the Environment and Climate Change to the importance for every human being to play their part in the preservation of the environment and the importance of having the youth involved from an early age.
When I first saw the video as an item under the Seasons of Creation, it really touched me. And it touched me on three bases. One, being a past student of the St. Peter's Roman Catholic School, I had my early beginnings there. And then I went on to St. John's Anglican School. Second, being I'm the MP for the area, and seeing a primary school engaging the students at that level really touched me. And three, in the process of educating them from within the constituency, being the minister with responsibility for the environment and seeing how it is important and imperative for schools and other organizations to get the young people involved, to get children involved in the process of understanding that in order for us to save our lives here, we must protect and save our environment. It was very touching and inspiring, and I hope that when the season of creation is complete, that activities like that don't die within the school system. We must start from that level to train our children up to understanding the importance of climate change and securing and saving our environment. So I was really inspired and touched.
As a parishioner of St. Peter's RC Church, Guelph, MP James spoke of that connection between her faith as Catholic and her role as a politician.
Faith has always guided what I do. Sometimes we fall off, but then we always have a way of coming back home. Yes. And so while it might be challenging, because here you have Christianity and, being a Roman Catholic and all other religious forms that we have existed in this world, time has shown us that we have gone onto a path whereby we have to adapt, and there's so many movements going on right now. And I should say, unfortunately for us, because of where we are geographically located, most times as an administration, we have to make decisions that is not really a reflection of us as a Christian nation. Yes, simply because we are signed to different protocols and different international organizations, and so we have to get with the time. But I would answer this question simply by saying that at some point in time, we have to make tough decisions and tough choices. Yes? And while the world may be going a certain way, we have to remember that we are not just mere humans existing on this earth. Mm-hmm. It was created to be like that. And so in everything that we do, we have to ensure that we remember the Creator and His commandments to us. Yeah?
So I want to go further, right? So let's say, okay, there's this policy coming up, mm-hmm. right? But however, it's probably in contradiction or in contravention mm-hmm. to your Catholic faith, and you have to support it. But then it brings backlash from your probably religious committee.
Right.
Right. How will that affect you in your faith as a young person?
Well, as an MP, I would say that, every piece of legislation, act, or law that is to be brought into our houses, I think that we first need to do consultation with our various stakeholders, and the church plays an instrumental part in that. And so before it is tabled, I think we need to be able to express how we feel about it as Catholics, as Christians, whatever religious denomination that we ascribe to. So we have to ensure that before it is brought to that final stage, we have that consultation so that they understand my perspective as being a part of governance, and I understand and have that reminder of who I am as a devoted Catholic, and as, a mere human first. So I would say consultation will be important as we go along. And it is my hope that not only myself as an individual taking that responsibility to bringing it to my community in addition to my church or to some members of my church, but also I hope that the administration that I'm a part of, holistically, we take that approach.
Moving on now, on Friday, 30th September, the Diocesan Youth Ministry will be hosting an evening of prayer for youth at Norton's Hall from 6 p.m. Members from all of the youth ministries throughout the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada are invited to attend. Young adults are also encouraged to turn out and support the youth in this mission of prayer, which is this Friday, September 30th at Norton's Hall from 6 p.m. Our Lady Help of Christians Bolio will be staging a parish cookout at Willis on Sunday, 23rd October at the mini waterfall beside the Willis Roman Catholic Church. The event will start immediately after the celebration of Holy Mass on Sunday, October 23rd. Mass is scheduled for 11 a.m. Parishioners from other communities are invited both to the celebration of Holy Mass and the parish cookout. All are also welcome at the cookout. Please take note that a live broadcast of Holy Mass this Sunday will commence at 3 p.m. from the St. Theresa's Roman Catholic Church, Vincennes, and will be carried on all Good News Catholic Communications platforms. A recap of the headlines when we return.
On this 29th day in the season of creation, I invite you to stop and take a picture of nature and share with a friend.
Burning bush you are, glowing and endless love, living in your midst, to live by you, to be alive in you.
Welcome back. And now for a recap of the headlines. The Diocese of St. George's in Grenada hosts Diocesan Pastoral Council meeting as it strengthens its resolve for the re-establishing of the Diocesan Pastoral Council. Missionary Month to get underway with 4 online study sessions in partnership with the Caribbean Bishops of the Antilles Episcopal Conference. Diocesan Youth Ministry to host an evening of prayer this Friday, September 30th at Norton's Hall. On behalf of all those who made this newscast possible, I am Betty Ann Lazarus. Thanks for staying with us.